All right.
Wow.
You look more comfortable that way anyway.
Yeah. I'm sitting on my couch that's supposed to be on that wall.
You
Whatever.
had everything scoped to the middle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then giant pieces of plastic covering everything.
No, that's awesome. That's how it should be. All right, Abe. Tell me why you're here. What's the purpose of you being here? Like I said at the beginning, you've been fully informed of your the risks that you're taking here. I expect
Well,
your
I mean,
message board to be full.
well, I would say that I'm totally fine with the idea of my message board being full because I have no problem ignoring anybody. um, but I don't know. I think that my purpose, me personally, my purpose across the board with social media originally, the original intent of my choice to be on social media was to document my experiences in the trades, not only for other tradespeople to understand and to come to know about the trades more, but also to document for my kids and for my future children. So, because obviously technology is not really going away anytime soon, and I think that it's good to be able to do that instead of a journal. Like people don't even
Yeah,
if I
yeah,
did
yeah.
it in a journal, my kids wouldn't read it. My grandkids wouldn't read it. They're gonna be on social media and they're like, oh yeah, remember when Instagram was a thing? Yeah. And Grandpa had an Instagram. you know. So
You're that far. You're thinking that far ahead. Are you downloading
yeah.
all this stuff onto like on an external drive? Is that part of what your
Um, I
process is?
haven't done that, but I didn't even know that you could do that. I might have to start doing that. I know it's all on my phone.
Yeah,
I think that
yeah,
almost all my video is.
yeah. Yeah, that's interesting. I mean, mine wasn't quite as egalitarian as yours. Mine was to prove that we were at places and did work, and you know what I mean. This is how it looked when we showed up. This is how it looked when we finished.
Yep.
Um, just dealing with sort of that element of customers that are like, "Did you really fix it for us?" Because this is now the problem. I'm like, "Nope, this is what it looked like when we showed up. This is what it
Yep.
looked like when we were done. We've done everything we're supposed to do."
Yeah.
And then, like you say, it's sort of like, well, I have thousands and thousands of videos. Why don't I start? We'll just upload it and see where it goes.
Yeah. Exactly. And just I'll let the world hate or love it and take it as you will.
That's right. Yeah. So, I mean, how you've been in our little preamble? You've been on your own for the second time for a couple of years now.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
And so far so good. Been in business for um, about 2 years, a little over 2 years now, and so far so good. All in this area. I haven't been in business in this area before, so this is all new territory as far as my actual work goes. I do get
Yep.
calls from previous customers from my last time working on my own every once in a
Yeah.
while, but rarity. I only go to certain people. So
That's awesome. And so, like, uh, you had like a 2 year stint by yourself, and then you went and worked for somebody for like 4 years. I think you said.
yeah. So I started off. I went to high school, went to trade school over at Tri County in Franklin, and I picked plumbing. I was going to do carpentry, decided to do plumbing,
Yeah.
um, and got into that. Graduated, went to work for a temp agency until I got my license. And the temp agency just like shoved me off to whatever plumbing company that needed me, and that's how I got my hours because I knew it would be guaranteed hours. I wasn't going to necessarily get fired. Got my license, left, worked for one of the companies that I worked for during
Yeah.
the time that I was working for them. And then he promised me all kinds of things, promised me the world about working and getting all kinds of money, and he didn't make good on it. So I said bye, left him, worked for myself for a little while, not very long, maybe a year and a half or so, give or take. And then I
Yeah.
had a bad business deal, lost a lot of money, went into the local union in Boston, was there for a while. They didn't like me because I came in with a license. So I didn't get enough work, moved out here and lived here, worked for a company out here doing plumbing for them for about 2 years, and then left with them. And now I'm on my own.
Nice. So tell me, what's it? I mean, you've been obviously in Massachusetts your whole life. What's the requirements to become a plumber? You said you started in
Well,
high school, right?
yeah, yeah. So it's a 5 year apprenticeship in Massachusetts. You're required to take, class time as well as hours in the field, and
How long is
I
your
did all
class?
that. What's that?
How long is your class time?
So I don't know what it is now, but it was 1,800 hours, I believe, when I first. Or sorry, it's
Eighteen
five
hundred hours per
tiers.
year. Yeah,
Well, yeah. So that's the amount I think it was for. It's been a long time. I got my license a while ago, so I don't remember
that's all right.
exactly how many hours I needed, but I do know that there was 5 years of class time, and the class time was twice a week for several months every year, and it basically just went along with the basic school year. So whenever the kids were in
Okay,
school, I was too, and it was night school. So. Um, be there for like 6 hours and then go home, come back, 2 days later, do it another time. And that was twice a week. So it was good. I think now that they've switched it around where there isn't 5 tiers anymore, there's only four. You only have to do 4 tiers. If you do tier five, that gets you your master's. So,
okay,
but you can take tier five right away. You don't have, like, you can do 4 tiers, get your journeyman's, and then you can, um, take tier five right away, and then you have to wait a year, and then you can get your master's. That's kind of how that works.
cool. And so you you graduated high school as a journeyman,
No,
basically.
no, no, no.
Oh,
So when I graduated from high school, because it's co-op basically, like if you're on co-op working for somebody in your senior year, you only get a certain number of hours for that. Same thing with school. So you're really doing half the amount. So you'll leave high school tier
gotcha.
two, and you'll have X amount of hours. I can't remember how many hours that they give you, but there's like a set amount that if you go to a trade school, this is the maximum amount of hours that they will give you from the state. The state will say, all right, you're good for this amount. That's it. You can't get
Right.
any more. But I walked out with 2 years under my belt for time and 2 years for my apprenticeship. So I was pretty set. It was great. It was awesome.
That is good.
Yeah, it was awesome.
That is
They
good.
definitely have it set up right. I really do. There are flaws in every system, but I applaud the idea of the way that they put it together, and that
Yeah.
you turn out, if you dedicate yourself, you turn out a half decent technician in plumbing.
Yeah.
So
It's so we've talked about this endlessly, and I don't want to make it a super focus, but it's just so strange to me on how different every state is for you guys. I mean, what you've just described, more or less, six of one, half dozen of another, is the Canadian system, where it's a 4 year apprenticeship. It's going to take you 5 to 7 years to get it. You're in school for 3 months a year. Blah 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 blah.
yeah,
They do have the RAP program, which is for high school kids, which is very similar to what you just described. They're not at a different place. It's you actually take it during the day type of thing, but
mm,
and yet you can go to and I've picked on them a little bit a couple of times. You go over to Arizona, and then John Thompson is like, listen, I can get a technician out in 2 days. I'm like, dude, there's like that's impossible to
yeah,
get someone out there that's competent. Maybe they can know, maybe they have a driver's license and know where your shop is, but
yeah, yeah,
outside of that, I don't know what you're doing.
yeah.
And so you said you worked for the union, but they didn't like you. Why didn't they like you?
For a couple of reasons, I think. One, I worked hard, and two, I think that it was just because I came in with a license, and coming in with a license, I don't know. They wanted me to start over. They're like, "Hey, we want you to do our program." I'm like, "Okay, I don't want to." So
Oh, okay.
you can, they wanted to start me over because they, and I get it. It's fine. That's what they want. They want to have the exact same guys. Everybody have the exact same training. That's fine. No big deal. I'm not
Yeah.
dropping my pay scale when I have kids to take care of. Like
Yeah.
I'm not
Yeah.
doing that. No.
So they
So
wanted you to lower your rate too. Like, we'll only pay you
yeah,
$18 because you're starting off
yep,
as basically a newbie, even within the state, you've done everything you're supposed to do.
yeah,
They still want to discount it and
yeah,
say you need to do the union.
yep.
What's different about the union? Like, what training do they have that you would consider different?
I would say, I mean, I've never seen their training. I've never been in any of their classes or anything like that, but I had a friend of mine that was in it, and he said
Yeah.
that it was very rigorous and that it was more like school that we had like in grade school was more like that than it was for at least the way that he described it. And if I, his description and my understanding of class, it was very it was more aggressive, I think, than
Mm,
my plumbing school was. My plumbing school was like, hey, let's learn the concepts, let's figure out how to do it, and let's make sure you know the code and make sure you're ready for a test. And his understanding was that it was, hey, this is how we do it. Don't do it any other way.
right.
So,
So I would have failed with my dope and tape then. That's how, that's sort of how that's the
yeah,
mentality of the union.
yeah, that kind of an idea. Dape and tope, dape and, or sorry, tope, yeah,
Yeah.
tape and
Dope and
dope,
tape.
dope and tape. Yeah,
So
I like to switch it
technic,
around all the time.
so you've been in this thing for like 15 years then, if I'm
Yeah,
doing the math of high school and kids and all the rest of that stuff. Pretty
yeah,
close.
yeah. Been doing plumbing for a while, and I love it. I love it. I learn new things every day. I haven't peaked. Like I haven't stopped learning, and that's like the
No.
best part about it is that I don't want to be. I don't want to stop learning because then my brain will be bored, and then if I'm bored, I don't want to do anything. It's like I got to
Yeah.
find something new.
Listen, I couldn't. That's the best thing about it for me is I've been doing it for 40 years now, and there's still stuff that I'm like, oh, I have no idea how that works. Let's dig into this and figure out if it's applicable to what I need to do. Like the technology changes, the methodologies keep changing. It's fabulous, and the opportunities continue to, and certainly for my perspective, continue to grow and be and provide.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean that's a big thing for me. I mean, I'm not going to be able to speak for anybody else, but it's being able to have constant change and constant learning to satisfy my itch for learning.
Yep.
That it's constant enough to where I'm totally satisfied and I still enjoy going to work. As much as I hate leaving my kids and my family and my wife, I if I'm gonna leave my kids and wife, I might as well actually enjoy what I'm doing if I'm leaving for a while.
Right. That's the opportunity I think of the trade, right? Particular, I mean, they're all the same. Uh, Electrical, HVAC, even carpentry, plumbing. There's so many different things that you can get involved with that would pique your interest that are so different from you said carpentry. There's something you considered. I mean, there's framing, there's finished carpentry, there's cabinetry. You know what I mean? Like it's just
Yeah,
there's a million different, not a million, but there's dozens of different opportunities or fields or avenues that you can take to keep it fresh and
yeah,
keep you engaged and motivated, right? Or why else would you do it? That's the
yeah,
crazy thing, right?
yeah. I will say this. This kind of aggravates me a lot, and that this probably will be great for your content to make people mad. Um, is
I
that it
promise you, I'm not
aggravates
trying to be contrary, but it is. It is. Go.
I I I absolutely it makes me so mad that people that I meet in a trade, regardless of what it is, some kind of physical labor in building, fixing, whatever it is, I don't care. I meet them and they're just so down in the dumps. They're so aggravated and just like, oh, I hate my life. I hate my job. It's like, dude, then get the heck out of here. Like, go somewhere else. We don't
Yeah.
need you here. Like, we would much rather work with the happy person. You know,
Yep.
it's like we don't want you around. Like, you're not that good at your job. Like,
I
we'll
listen. I agree with you. I mean,
yeah,
as you know, or certainly the stereotype is you're a grouchy tradesman, right? Like, oh, I'm like,
yeah,
well, listen, I was thinking about it today. I'm like, I might be angry about things, but I'm not unhappy. And there's a difference,
yes,
right? Like,
yes,
I mean, like this may piss me off, and I think that's ridiculous, but I'm not unhappy with my life. I live a
yeah,
fabulous life, as I've tried to tell everybody, and I'm not here to bring anybody down. But there's,
yeah,
like you said, this bugs me, and this is why. But don't call me unhappy or unsatisfied, because that's not who I am. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And
just because somebody sees 2 minutes or 30 seconds of your individual life where you're in a certain mood does not necessarily depict your entire existence.
no, no. And yet, like you say, I know dozens and dozens and dozens of individuals that are deeply unhappy in their
Yeah,
life, right?
yeah,
And lash out. I mean, we saw lots of that. I don't want to go too deep into that over the last week, of people that I perceive as unhappy because they're celebrating something awful. I'm like, what are you
yeah,
guys doing?
yeah. I
That
think that
just,
people tend to take a lot of things that I don't know. The world's too small, in my opinion, as a result of technology. But it
yeah,
benefit. There are benefits. There's good and evil in all things. And with regards to your own true happiness, and I say this all the time to my kids. I'll say your happiness is truly and unequivocally determined by you, your
yep,
choices, and your
yep,
thoughts. And those three different things, like you as a person, like your character, your individuality of who you are and the way that you choose to conduct yourself, the thoughts that you have about yourself and other people, and your predicaments that you're in, whatever it may be, whether it's good or bad, like there's those things are really the key factors, and they're all things you can control. You
yep.
can control the situation. You can choose to be happy. I always say, my kids are always like, yeah, dad, happiness is a choice. Like, yeah, of course it is.
Good for you. Good for
Yeah.
you, man. That's exactly the message that those kids need to hear, right? That's
Yep.
awesome. And that is very similar to the messages that I gave my youngest is just starting university, so she's 18, so I'm kind of done with all five, and it's been an amazing experience. But that's literally been the theme, and that's the theme. My youngest is super stressed and unsure. She's going to a new environment. I'm like, listen, this is going to be what you make it. Like, it's a wonderful school, it's a wonderful opportunity, but if you're going to, project being, you know, uh, perturbed to be there or
Mhm.
unhappy to be there because you're scared, then
Yeah.
people are going to see that. You're going to manifest that, and you need to manifest the exact opposite if you want to have a good time down there.
Yeah.
So,
Speaking back to your point of soup, that we're in the soup right now,
yeah,
you can't make the soup yourself and then complain that it tastes bad.
yeah, right.
Yeah.
That's perfect. And that, like I say, just to go back to the trade, and part of the reason that both my boys went into it is because you can immediately control things, right? Like, you're right now, I mean, you're sitting there, but an hour and a half ago, you're putting up poly and you're painting your house and, doing what needs to be done, and enacting what your control of your environment and making the best of it. And
Yeah.
so many people sit there in their own bathwater, upset about that it's murky and stinky. I'm like, well, that's because you're sitting in it, and it's
You're
time to do
farting in
something
it.
about that if you want to make it different, right?
Yeah. Yeah. It's uh I I try to, well, not that I try, I do. I take that ideology of you are what you eat kind of thing. There's all kinds of
Yep.
different sayings, but that it is so crazy that once you determine that factor and you understand that you can control your environment, you can control your own feelings. I haven't had too many bad days lately.
No.
It's just because that I can control it, and I figured out it's like lucid dreams, or well, no, well, not lucid dreams. What's those things where you figure out that you can control it when you're dreaming, and then you're like, oh, now I can fly, like, and then you start like buzzing around town because you figured out that you were in a dream, and now you're not dreaming anymore. You're controlling it.
Controlling it.
Yeah.
No, I think that's fabulous. It's a fabulous philosophy, and I certainly have had lots of bad moments,
Oh
but
yeah.
I haven't had very many bad days. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you're like, okay. And the best thing about those moments, and with sort of that pragmatic attitude of, listen, here's the problem. Here's why I'm having a bad moment. How do I fix it? It's either this, or this. and I'm going to try number 2 because I tried number 1 whatever last week and it didn't work, so I'm going to try this.
Yeah.
And you sort of figure out the solutions to the problems that manifest themselves in your lives. I think that's a
Yeah.
fabulous message for everybody. It's even more
Yeah.
important, a message to your
So
kids.
to that point as well, two things.
2
One,
things.
any day that I have, no matter what it is, whether it's good or bad, or it was a bad experience, I had lots of bad problems, or I had to be out late for whatever reason or something like that, or I got screwed on a job and I had to, work extra hours or something. It doesn't matter. Whatever the bad situation is that, would dictate a bad day,
Yep.
everything disappears when I come home and I hold my kids. Everything.
Yep.
Just the whole day, poof, gone in an instant. Hugging my wife and giving her a kiss and holding out my baby girl and seeing her smile, and my kids running through the yard because they know that dad's home. That it makes it all go away. And I just I never would have imagined when I was in like high school and things like that
Yeah.
that was even possible. Because when I was in high school, I was like, a bad day would really beat me down. Now it's all like, it doesn't matter what happens.
Yep.
The world could all burn, and as long as I get home to my family, I'm fine. So, point one. I
Yep.
don't know if you want to say something about that or not, or whatever.
No, I listen. You're gonna make me emotional here, which I'm gonna not be. But now that my kids are gone, they're all out doing their thing, and I miss that incredibly. And yet, Pete just had a baby girl 3 months ago, and Isaiah's about gonna have a baby boy tomorrow, and so the cycle sort of repeats itself, and it's just like it gets better. Like as much as you love those little kids, and I loved and love my kids, like everybody says it, but like nobody else. I love them like nobody else loves them, and you love your kids like nobody else can love them. And when those grandkids show up, it's indescribable. It truly is. Like your high school analogy. I'm like, yeah, it's so great. But when the grandkids show up, I'm like, oh my goodness, this is a different feeling altogether. It's indescribable and truly one of the best things that's in my life. On top of it's like exponential, right? It's like math. The kids are good, but the grandkids are exponentially better. So you got lots
Yeah,
to look forward to.
yeah.
Sorry,
Our good buddy Aladdin. It's a whole new world.
it is a whole new world.
um,
Yes.
yeah. So point number two
Number
being
2.
that I was this is a little bit of a story, and I was working for my first boss. I was in my co-op job in high school, and I remember very specifically, and I'll never forget this experience because of what it taught me, and because I learned, this is where I started to learn the first parts of that concept of controlling my own environment myself. Is I was drilling a hole for a outside spigot on a job, on a very expensive, like several $1 million house working for him. I was an apprentice, and I drilled the hole way too big.
Yeah.
I mean, being an idiot and never done it before, like, oh yeah, drill a hole for this. All right. Hey, I found a hole saw, drill this hole. And it was too big and it totally screwed it up. And he was wicked pissed. It was like this really expensive siding. I don't know what it was, whatever it was. He was super mad, and the guy had a temper. And so he was just so mad, and he was like, what the hell is wrong with you? And I was like, and I just stood there and I said, all right, how do I fix it? And I just said that right to him. I was like, tell me how to fix it. Teach me how to fix it.
Yeah.
And I immediately saw him just change. And he was like, all right, you want to fix it? All right, I'll show you how to do it. And then he showed me how to fix it. And I don't think he ever really yelled at me anymore, even if I made mistakes after that. And that changed my perspective on how I reacted towards, an uh-oh moment, however you want to put it, And I took that, and I have also applied that to my apprentices. And I've learned that the experience of that was the very beginning of understanding the control that I actually have over my own happiness and my own environment and my own I don't know, are there any other fancy ways to put it? I'm a plumber. I don't know how to speak. So uh, it's, it's just so incredible to me that I was able to learn that. And I was grateful for it too.
Yeah. We've tried to, with our own business, when we encounter stressful situations, whether by our own making or others, we
Yeah.
walk in and people are always very stressed. They have no hot water, or, it's a hotel with 300 people and people are freaking out. And
Yeah.
we have said to them, and everybody that's worked for me, including the boys, I'm like, listen, you're there to solve the problem, and you're there to lower the stress level, and you're there to say, listen, I'm here to fix your problem, and give me 10
Mhm.
minutes to sort of figure out what's going on here, and I'll come back to you with solutions, and I'll give you the timelines that you need in order to, we'll make this right. And whether
Yeah.
it's, immediately or a couple hours away, the solution is coming. And just like you say, everybody just sort of okay, someone's here that's competent, that's cool, that is going to complete this task um, professionally. And you're like, all right, we're
Yeah.
here. And then you go off, fix it, and they phone me and swear, holy F, this thing is ridiculous. I'm like, yep, okay. You can be
Yeah.
chaotic out here, but when you go back out into the foyer, you need to be calm, cool, and collected. Yep, got it. So that's a fabulous lesson to learn, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that with regards to speaking towards customers and all that, and when you're like applying that to a customer is really really nice because that, like you said, you show up on, or at least plumbers, carpenters, whatever, we show up on a job where there's problem X that in our mind it's fairly small. It's not like a big thing because we've probably run into it before, or we've seen it 1,000 times, or it's a normal thing for us to deal with. But for a homeowner or a business owner that
Yep,
is either having this happen for the first time or having this happen for like the 10th time because that the first guy didn't do it right or whatever, their
yep,
mentality of is blowing it up out of proportion, and then we come in as the saving grace that's going to solve the problem and hopefully do it right. We always try to do that and do the best that we can, and
yep.
that's a satisfaction, by the way. Great
It
satisfaction
is,
in that.
isn't it?
Yeah.
It's instant. It's the dopamine hit that everybody needs, is to be able to go in and solve a problem.
Wait, so
You
does
know what I
that mean that
mean?
we're drug addicts then?
I think so. I've said that. I mean, I truthfully, when the boys were deciding whether they were going to do this, and this goes back 7, 8 years, I'm like, you're going to go to see this lady. She's freaking out. This is the solution to the problem. You tell me how you feel when you walk in the stressful situation, and how you feel when you walk out of that situation. And they were like, dude, I feel fantastic. I'm like, I know. That's addicting. That's the high that you want, right? Like, that's the
Yes.
natural. I fixed something. Somebody thinks I'm amazing because of what came out of my head and out of my hands, and the result was magic. According, like you say, according to the client, they're like, we had 3 dudes in here that had no idea what they're doing. I'm like, I know, but we're the dudes that know how to fix it and can solve
Yeah.
your problems. And they absolutely will admit that that's a fantastic feeling that you can't.
Yeah.
If you're good at it, you chase it every day. So I guess,
Yeah.
yeah, that's all the language and vernacular of addicts, and I guess that's what we are,
Yeah.
chasing chasing that feeling.
Yeah, I don't remember. I mean, I'm not going to try to even quote anything fancy here, but I know that there was some kind of a statistical study done where the amount of adrenaline or dopamine or whatever the terminology is that you receive from, I say drug A, whatever drug is, you take that drug, you get a certain level of high.
Yeah,
But if you help someone, if you make someone smile, if you protect someone, save someone from some peril in some way, whether it's their physical death that they might be avoiding or them avoiding having to spend thousands of dollars to repair their house, the level supposedly is much higher. I don't know what, I'm not going to say it's like
yep,
5, 10, 50, 1,000 times higher. Whatever it is higher and it lasts
yep,
longer. You know,
Yep.
like after I go and fix Mrs. Smith's water heater because that her husband broke it trying to fix it himself, and the neighbor kid who's in trade school tried to fix it too, and then the painter that she's friends with came over and said he knew a little bit about water heaters, came and tried to fix it too, but broke it more. I go in there and fix it, and I'm in and out and take care of it, and she's just super excited. She gives me a bowl of cookies. Like that lasts me all day long. That feeling,
All day until you
yeah.
get home to your kids. And
And
then
then
that's
it's
even a
even
better one, right?
yeah, yeah.
But it's true. And I think that's a valid reason to be in the trade. I think it's a valid reason to get in the trade. And if you are in it and aren't experiencing any of that, then you need to find where that quote unquote high comes from,
Yeah,
and the natural one, and get into the realm of the trade that gives you that, whether
yeah,
it's sales or providing solutions technically, or actually
yeah.
getting on the ground floor and in the trenches and doing the work, which is where I find it is
Yeah,
in the
we need to all find, and I believe this wholeheartedly. And my dad, I can credit him for this because he always used to tell me that I needed to find an occupation that wasn't work,
yep.
and that something that was so gratifying to me that I don't consider it work. Yes, my kids say, "Hey, Dad, you're going to work," and I say, "Yeah, yeah, I'm going to work." But in my mind, I already know, like, I'm going to like serve people, I'm going to help people, and I'm going to enjoy my day because I'm going to, get that kind of high out of it.
Yep.
So,
No, there's nothing else. And so if you were king for not a day, but we'll say we'll give you a whole month, king for a month, what would you change in this trade? Is there anything, or do you think it's fabulous?
in the trade, I think as far as changes that would go, I don't know if I would. I mean, tool wise and things like that, I wouldn't change anything. The way that the structure of it is, I wouldn't really change much. I will say that I would, and I know that I can't do this, but I would change people in a way that they communicate better,
Yep.
because I have never been on a single job that if communication was better, it wouldn't improve it. It wouldn't improve. It would, like, communication improves every job that I've ever been on, no matter what it is. Big commercial jobs, small residential remodels, all that kind of stuff. And whenever I get into any job, I always tell people communication is key for me because I know it's going to help us. I know it's going to make this go better. So that's what I would probably change. As far as if I was king of the trades, I guess,
Yep.
which I think that that would probably be a big thing, is this changing people in a way so that they communicate better, because it would just drastically improve everything, no matter what. Everything would improve.
I love that. One of the things I don't say this much anymore, but when we would do renovations for our new houses, we would talk to the client of the one that we were doing the work for, not the general contractor, but the homeowner. I say, listen, you need to tell me what's going on. There's going to be moments during this process where you hate me, whether that's because I've done something wrong, or I showed up too early, or you don't think I'm getting the information that I need from the general contractor, or I'm just an ass. I don't know which one it is. But
Yeah.
when that day happens, you need to come to me and say, listen, I'm super pissed about X, Y, and Z. And then we can
Hmm.
have a conversation about it, and I can either fix it, or I can straighten you out, or we can just decide, you know what? You don't have the budget to fix this. This is how it's going to be. You know what I mean? At least everybody knows what's going on here, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Um, and for the most part, it hasn't solved all the problems, but that certainly is, like you say, having that communication and those tough communications. Everybody's ready to communicate when everything goes super well and you came in under
yeah,
budget, and you know what I mean? Everything went exactly as the preconceived notions of this job went.
yeah.
It's when things go sideways, and they always do, where you're like, okay, this is about to go sideways. You're going to be mad. Let's figure out how we minimize the damage here and understand why it's going sideways. It's not because I'm
Hmm.
trying to screw you, or you're a bad person or a bad decision maker. It's because it's the world, and the
Yeah,
problems will happen, right?
Yeah, and I tell this to a lot of customers, especially in instances where we're gonna like gain access via a sawzall to a problem.
Yeah, yeah.
Like when we're cutting a hole in the wall, and I always tell people, I say, oh, and I kind of do this jokingly, but I tell them like, hey, no matter what we find, like even if an alligator jumps out of the wall and bites me, and then I have to sue you, like no matter what, we're gonna figure it out.
After the
And
lawsuit,
I,
though, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah. At the end of the lawsuit, we'll figure it all out. But
I'll come
it's
back and
just
fix it. Don't you worry about it.
yeah, no, for a very reasonable fee.
Reasonable price.
Yeah,
Uh, that is awesome. Well, and I agree. I mean, and as you know, anybody that does that sort of stuff, you never really know what you're getting into, right? Everybody knows what's behind the wall until you open up the wall and you're like, you told me X, Y, and Z was behind here. Well, it's ABC and
yeah,
it's got nothing to do with what we're looking for. So, or
yeah.
whatever. So we're going to have to open up this wall or that wall, trying to find out where exactly this problem is. So I think that's a great, proclamation. If you were going to be the king of the trade, is make sure everybody communicates effectively
Yeah.
on
Hear
both
ye, hear
sides.
ye. And
So
I think that's definitely going to be something I'll have to push more. I think I need to push that more towards my kids a little bit right now. Now, as far as the communication thing is, I do it with my wife, but I don't think I do it enough with my kids. I probably should change that.
well, if you've got, what did you got 12, 5, 3, and whatever, 8 months or whatever it was. I mean, they're just learning how to communicate, right? Those little guys.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I mean, those are sort of slow and methodical steps to help them express themselves, and uh, and you to express yourself to them so they understand.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a maze and different for everybody because we're
Oh
all
yeah.
in different circumstances for sure. So what where do you see yourself? I mean, you're running your own show now on year 2.5, I think you said.
Yep. About that.
Um,
Yeah.
where do you see where do you want to be in 5 years from now? Like what's
Well,
Abe doing 5 years from now?
in 5 years from now, hopefully plumbing and living. I definitely,
Okay.
I,
Okay. Well, you're alive in 5 years, and
yeah,
obviously
yeah, yeah.
is your oldest a girl?
No, it's
Is
a
that what you
boy.
said? Oh, it's a boy. And
Yeah.
so he'll be graduating high school in about five
Yeah.
years, right?
Yeah. So
And
he'll be graduating, which will be good and exciting for him. I know. I don't necessarily. I told him. I said, "Don't be a plumber. We don't need another plumber in the family. We need different trades. So pick a different one." So
that's what you got to
um,
spread it out. You got to be able
yeah,
to
yeah,
build a house with your family, right? Okay, you're the
yes,
electrician, and you're the framer, and you're
yeah,
the tile setter, and you're the concrete guy. Perfect. We got it
yeah,
all covered.
yeah, yeah. We got to be able to build the what do they call it? The compound. We got to
The
build the
compound.
compound together. Yeah,
Yep. Yeah. You got to get the place and uh,
yeah.
and make
I
sure
think
you still have.
business wise, I do want to have another guy that's in a truck. And I don't know how soon I'll do that. It probably will be sooner than 5 years. So I would say I wouldn't be opposed to having, a total of 3 trucks on the road to include my own.
Yeah.
Um, I have strong aspirations to order another truck and have that ready to go so that I can hire another guy.
Yeah.
Obviously, I'll do all that when I get to the new house and build a shop and all that kind of stuff wherever we're at. We're planning to have more property, so that would be very beneficial to have an actual shop and an
Do
office
you
and
have
all that
property
crap.
now? Is that place like, are you on a piece of land
Yeah,
there or just a city lot?
yeah, we're just a little over an acre, but it's
Okay.
we're back. Our backs is like 125 acres of just wide open land,
Oh,
and
nice.
woods and stuff. So the kids can go out there with the dog and go hang out. I go hunting out there, so it's great. Um, but we were
Is it
looking for a
technically
minimum.
government land? We call it crown land up here, but
No, it's not government. It's I don't know what it's sectioned off as or what they deem it, but it's
that's cool.
conservation land basically.
Okay, there you go.
Like you can't build on it. You're not
Yeah.
like nobody's allowed to develop it or anything like that. It's for like it's like a sanctuary city for all the animals
For the critters.
for the critters. Yeah,
That's what we need.
but
More
it's
sanctuary cities for
beautiful.
the critters.
Yeah, it's beautiful. It's awesome. I go back there. We go hiking and all that, and there's old trails that are cut for the power companies. I guess there's some kind of fiber optics going through there or whatever. I don't know. But
Yeah.
it's awesome, beautiful, all kinds of really good stuff. My wife homeschools the kids, so she brings them out there for nature walks and stuff and all that, and looking at things. And my kids go sledding down this big hill that's in there, and my kids just love it. So it's good. And the dog gets to run around and get 1,000 ticks, and we pull them all off when we get back. So it's great.
Well, that sounds like you're leaving paradise and hoping to find it again. Is that the plan?
Yes. Yeah, we just need better neighbors than the ones we have now, which we have
Oh,
two good
yeah.
neighbors, one on either side, and then one behind us that's not so good, and then one across the street that's not so good. So we're trying to avoid the ones that are not so good.
I won't lie to you, but it's been my curse in life. Everywhere I go, I have a neighbor that we just have like it's like oil and water. I don't know what it is.
Yeah. I I don't know. I we could have a whole podcast on this neighbor behind me, and we're not gonna. But
Yeah.
I'll give you this one though. These guys over here, kind of nosy, and
Yeah.
they're recover as far as we know, they are recovering
Uh-huh.
cocaine addicts
Okay. So
and
they are
heroin addicts.
nosy.
They're very nosy. Yeah.
They're talented in the nose, or they've destroyed
Yeah.
it, or whatever it is. But yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, when I first moved in, I was clearing off my deck and finishing it off and making it nice and, staining it and everything. And I'm sanding the deck, and all of a sudden this random lady we didn't even know him. We had never met
Yeah.
them, just on my deck, and says, "I'm going to go talk to your wife." I was like, "No, you're not. Who are you?" And I was all like, I'm like, "Lady, like, don't sneak up on a person like me. Like, don't. You don't
Right.
want to. I'm the last person you want to sneak up on, especially when I just moved in and I don't
Yeah.
know
Right.
you.
I have no
Like,
idea.
we got plenty of things on our property that will make you go bye-bye. So just don't." Yeah. So
Just being friendly,
I
bringing over sugar or cake or something. Little
no,
nose
no, just
candy.
being nosy. Just being
Just
nosy.
being nosy.
And she has not stepped foot on our property since. I yelled at her pretty good, and she did not come back. So
Well, there you go.
yeah.
You gotta set the boundaries right off the bat, man. That's
Oh
important.
yeah. Oh
Yeah.
yeah. But now take the flip side of that with one of our good neighbors. When we moved in, they were walking by and they're like, "Hey, how you doing?" I was in the front yard and I'm like, "Hey, how's it going?" And we had a conversation from about 50 feet away from each other for about, a minute and a half, just getting to know each other. And then they asked permission to come onto my property to talk to me more. And I was like, by all means, you
Yeah,
know?
yeah, yeah.
So I had both ends of the spectrum. I had like, "Hey," I'm like, "How you doing?" And then there was somebody like, "Hey, can I be your friend?" And that was awesome. So we've been friends with them forever.
You Americans take those property rights pretty seriously. Not that we don't
Yes.
up here in Canada, but
Yeah.
you guys are next level. There's no doubt about that.
I,
But
I think that the rednecks take it very, very seriously, which
that's the
I will
problem.
claim to be.
That's the problem with most of my neighbors is I am the redneck, and they're all sort of they move out to the country to
Yeah.
sort of some idealized life, and they're like, "Dude, why are your trucks out? Why are your?" I'm like, "Because I work for a living, and you're
Yeah.
600 yards away. I don't know what you're. You have to pull up binoculars to see what I'm doing. So
Yeah. Leave me
just
alone, buddy.
just move on. There's nothing weird
Yeah.
going on over here."
Yeah.
We've had the police here a few times because they think we're doing working late at
Oh
night,
yeah.
working on welding or whatever we're doing. The cops show up. What are you doing? What are you doing?
Yeah.
Well, the neighbors are worried. I'm like, okay, well, you can see I'm literally welding stainless steel. Oh, okay. Well, have a great night, Mr. Baker. Thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks, fellas.
Yep.
Thanks for keeping the place safe.
Yeah. Oh man, I tell you, it's like, oh, like I mean, in our area, I don't think anybody really has too many issues. The only issue they have is if we're target shooting in the back 125 acres, they always call, and every time the cops come by, they're just like, "Hey, how's it going, Abe? Oh, yep, how's it going? You target shooting again? Yeah, yeah." And I always offer to them. I say, "Hey, you can take my number, and I'll take yours, and I'll text you every single
Because
time I go target shooting." So
I'm about to
yeah,
pop off some stuff, so be prepared for a phone call.
yeah, 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 yeah. It's like, oh man,
That's
yeah.
awesome. All right. So if you could control whatever you want, what's your biggest aspiration as being part of this trade or as a father or whatever it is?
My biggest
What would make you
aspiration
the
is to probably. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
no, go. You're on the right
So my
track.
biggest aspiration is that I want in the trades. In the trades, we'll speak to that first because that's kind of what this is all about. Um, in the trades, my biggest aspiration is for people to recognize the importance of us as tradespeople. And
Yep.
I don't want to, I'm not saying I want people to think important of me, just
Yep.
trades in general, and I think that the pandemic certainly helped a lot with that
Yep.
because, people were like, everybody was at home and everybody was using their toilet and everybody's toilet was breaking and we came in to save the day and we were the
Yep.
only ones that were allowed out. Like we never stopped. We actually got busier. And I think that if people understood the the different life that we lead and the reasons for it and the benefit that we are as a culture, and I say culture in reality because that's what it is. We all like the plumbing and electrical and carpentry, the trades culture is something that people don't know a lot about.
It's
But
true.
that would be something I would want people to understand and to learn more about is that there's way more than what everybody thinks. Like, oh, plumbers, they plunge toilets. Like
Yeah.
carpenters,
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
build walls. The drywall guy, he's always covered in dust. Like this, it's not really just that. So,
That's good.
um,
I think you can see it on like there's certainly, and I guess that's maybe part of my critique is that you can see people that are part of that culture that are representing it well, and then there's people that I think are doing a terrible job of representing us on the socials and um, know know that it's a falsehood that they're presenting, and that they need to do a better job on showing what
yeah.
it's really like on the
And
ground
I think
floor,
that
right?
comes down to a simple fact of morals as an individual,
Yep. Yep.
because the way that we were raised determines how we act in life. And yes, people do change for good or for better, whatever. Um, but I think that's a big part is that if you have core values that are taught to you as a child, no matter who you are, anywhere in the world, core values of being a good person, being honest, being respectful, being, and I mean this in the slightest amount, but having a little bit of pride, which again, I think that people shouldn't be prideful in any way, but having a little bit of pride in yourself for yourself, not for the benefit of other people, so that people see you better, but because you want to be better. Those kind of morals. If you combine those and you learn those and you put those to work in yourself, it's really hard not to be a good person and to be viewed as a good person. I mean,
I I agree.
going back to the
I think
soup,
yeah,
same thing.
right.
If you're making a soup or anything, but we're using soup, you're making soup and you put dog poop from the yard in it, it's not going to taste good and nobody's going to eat it.
That's going to be the title of this podcast. Just we're making soup or the ingredients of the soup.
Yes.
And I agree. And I will, like, I'll take your thing just a step further and say, like, there's no way that you can be good at what you do, particularly in this trade, and deal with the people that you need to deal with without some self aggrandizing, which is, listen, I know what I'm talking about. I have
Yep.
experience. I have the skills. I have the knowledge to solve your problem. And, over the course of my career, I've had conversations with architects and engineers and developers and, general contractors, and our opinions differ, which is fine. But I'm like, listen, you can do it this way, but this is going to happen. If you do it my way, then it's going to be this, and this. And when this is done, let's circle back and see who was right. And, lots of those times I'm right. Lots of those times I'm like, okay, well, you won that one. Which is good. You have to learn those lessons, but you can't be, I don't think you can be sheepish in here and be able to manifest the solutions that people want. If you're like,
Yep.
well, you could maybe, like, you're talking to somebody as a client, they're like, dude, do you know what you're talking about? Or are you just guessing? Did you watch a
Yeah.
YouTube video on the way over here or what? I'm like, nope,
Yeah.
this is the solution and this is how we'll fix it. And if there's a problem, I'll let you know. Like, you have to
Yeah.
own your wins and own your losses with the exact same gusto, right? Like,
Yeah.
if you're like, yes, this was solved because of me,
Yep.
or this is a problem because of me. It needs to be
Yep.
like the exact same
Yep.
sort of attitude of like, yeah, I own it. Here's the bill, or I'm going to pay for that because I messed it up.
Yeah.
And right, if you're in there cheering because you fixed it, and then when something goes wrong, you're like, well, that's because Abe is a moron and he told me to do it, and it's not my fault. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
then
Um,
then no, you have no integrity, which goes back to the morals of the soup, right?
yes. Yes. Exactly. And I don't ever really say this at all to any of my customers. I never stand in front of a customer and say, I think it's this. I think that's what we're going to do. I never say that. I just tell them,
Right.
like, hey, this is the problem. These are your solutions. These are the prices. Choice is yours. What do you want to do? I don't
Yep.
ever say I think to a customer or a potential customer, even
Nope.
because there's no thinking involved in almost 99.9% of the scenarios that I run into, except for the ones where I'm about to start learning. And I say, hey, this is a learning opportunity. This is what my opinion is. And we're going to do this and we're going to do that. And
Yep.
we're going to see where it goes. I never say I think, because
Yep.
if you say, to said customer, I think we should do this, that goes into the sheepish
Yep.
side of things. I think we should do this. Oh, you think? Like, I think I don't want to pay you if you're the one who's doing the thinking. Like,
Right.
just do it. Like, why would you pay anybody if they're starting to, like, well, I think we should do this, and I think that I don't really know, but like it might be like, no, don't pay that guy. Get the guy who
Don't pay
comes in
that.
and says, this is your issue. Oh, I know that these are some solutions. These are the prices that come along with that. What do you want to do?
Yep.
There's a drastic difference between the two. Being confident in the trade is huge. I said this to my last apprentice, and we can touch on this a little bit more later if you want to. But I take a trades kid from the local high school every year, and I take a new senior every year, and I ship them off to another company after I'm done with them for the time frame that they're a senior. I get him a job
Yep.
throughout the summer. He just left. The new one starts tomorrow, and I told him, and I said this to him specifically because he lacked a lot of confidence. Granted, he just got out of trade school. He has very little experience. The only experience he has in the field is with me. He has no other experience. Totally fine. But I told him, you must be confident in who you are as a person and as a plumber. When you walk into somebody's house, even if you're not the top dog in the room, you're not the master plumber or even journeyman plumber. Does not matter. You have confidence in who you are. You be who you are, and you make sure that everybody knows that you're there to solve the problem, whatever it is, even if you're not the one
100%.
calling the shot. Yeah, it doesn't matter.
100%.
You
No.
must be confident. I tell him because he was very, very shy, very shy. And I was like, dude, that's fine. You be shy with your girlfriend and your mom and dad. Do not be shy in a customer's house.
I
Like
love that.
you,
No, it has to be. There's a little bit of that. It's not, it's Canada up here, so it's not the same. But I certainly look at it as a bit militaristic, where you show up
yeah,
and you're like, this is what's happening, right?
mm-hmm.
And you want to work with the team, but you have an objective and a focus, and you have a plan, and you're like, all right, this is how we're doing this. This is where we're going, and you have to ooze, in my opinion, that confidence. It's not arrogance. We have different words for different things for reasons. I think you have to have confidence in what you're going to do, and then be able to have the skill set to follow it up. And
Yeah,
once you do that a couple of times, you instill that in your customer base. Like, people
yeah.
don't question. I mean, there is some arrogance or hubris. I like that word more than arrogance. But when I go to customers, very few people question me anymore, because I've proved myself
It's because of
300
this.
times. Yeah, exactly.
I
They're like,
remember my
Bob,
teacher in. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there.
no, go
I
for it.
I don't want to forget this because I just remembered it.
Okay.
And I had a teacher in school, one of the trades teachers, and Mr. Hannington. I don't know if he's dead or alive anymore. The last time I knew, he was alive, but
Yeah.
I remember him saying this all the time to us. He said, and he would tell us, he says, "I'm the best plumber in the world. I'm not conceited. I'm convinced." And
There we go.
at
I like
first, I
that.
was kind of like, all right, whatever, buddy. Like, you're the greatest plumber. Like, nobody's the greatest plumber. Like, whatever. Shut up, dude. But
Some teenager.
now, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
because I'm a young teenager who thinks that I own the world anyway, as it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that message that he was really trying to teach us was that confidence level. Being, obviously he's showing a difference. He's not conceited. He's convinced. Has that confidence. Now, I took that from that statement that he gave. If he was to explain it to me and be right here, right now, and explain to me what he really meant about that, he might have been being a jerk. But whatever. Either way, that is so true. Like, that confidence level is huge, huge, huge.
Yes, that's what it is. And once you, certainly my path is once you've sort of established that, then people say, Bob, what's the solution, or what are we going to do? I'm like, you need to do this or this. And like you said previously, here's the budget for one, here's the budget for two, and here's the budget for three. You pick which
Mhm.
one you want. And sure enough, then they go off to their own little, we deal with lots of hotels and restaurants. So they'll go off to their own little group, and then they'll come back and say, okay, Bob, we're going with two. Here's two questions that our team has for you. And then
Yep,
I'm
exactly.
like, those are valid. That question's valid. That one's BS. They got that off of AI. This is the answer to it. And the other one doesn't matter because of this. I'm
Oh
like,
my
oh yeah,
gosh.
okay, that totally makes sense. But you're right. I like that. That I would absolutely concur with Mr. Hennedy. Is that what it is? Hennedy?
Hannington.
Hennington. That I
Hannington.
am the best plumber in the world. I am not conceited, but I have convinced myself of that. And to my own benefit, I've convinced hundreds of other people of that
Yeah.
same fact.
And
And
that's our job.
yeah,
That's our job. Our job is to take said customer and build their confidence in us enough to where they will have no problem paying whatever bill that we give them. Obviously, we're not ruining people's lives with our bills, but like
no,
we charge a premium for the services that we're giving based off of our knowledge and our skills and our abilities and the means of which we accomplish the task that they've given us to do, which they obviously can't do themselves. And
yeah,
I just think that there's a lot of people that don't understand that concept, which also kind of tying back into that first thought is that having people understand who we are as tradespeople, at least the good ones, like there are some bad ones out there. There's plenty of hacks. They're all over the place.
they're all over the place.
I mean think about how many times you went onto a job or one of your guys went onto a job where the customer said that, oh, you're the fourth or second or third or eighth plumber that's been here,
Yeah,
you know? And it's like, holy crud, man. Like I go into places and I'm like, dude, there had to be at least like 50 people that came here to do something with this. Like I've seen some weird stuff, especially in Worcester. Like I see the weirdest stuff. Like there's got to be a billion handyman companies out there or a billion uncles running around trying
Oh
to
yeah,
fix something for people. Oh my gosh. I mean, like I've seen, I'll give you an example. This isn't the worst, but it's definitely one of the ones that was memorable to me is that I saw a cast iron. You guys deal with cast iron all the time and
yep,
everything anyway, so you know what this stuff is, but
yep,
bell and spigot cast iron, push fitting style, ones that they used to pour lead and oakum in. And for
yep,
people who don't know what that is, but it's a old style version of jointing for cast iron fittings and pipe. And I went to a place where I saw the guy, and he had the oakum and lead was all gone, and he took a pair of jeans, denim jeans, and he stuffed it inside all the way around, and then he put silicone
well,
on top of it. I'm like, what?
technically,
That was pretty good. It's not good.
he pounded in the jeans, probably with his Occam tool, and then, well, I don't have any lead, so I'll just use, the modern age lead, which is silicone, I
Yeah.
guess. No, the thing that astounds me the most, well, we don't sort of deal with much of the residential world anymore, but even in the commercial world, we'll have guys that are supposed to be like they're big companies with big, payrolls, and we'll show up and they'll be like, well, so and so said this. I'm like, well, so and so is into the nose candy, man. Like that's not going to work, and this is why it doesn't. And
Yeah.
then, like you say, the part of the reason that we're so busy is because there's so many, frankly, bad plumbers out there, or people that are just simply selling
Yeah.
equipment as opposed to providing solutions
Yeah.
to the problems that present themselves.
Yeah. There is a large difference between providing service and offering a service,
Yeah,
I think.
yeah,
Providing a service is a long lasting thing. Offering a service, saying like, hey, I can do that, versus the guy who says, yeah, that's not a problem. Like we can do that. We do that all the time.
yeah,
And it's kind of sad with regards to I mean, the fact that you say that the reason why we do so much work is because of all the hacks out there, or because there's bad plumbers or bad electricians or carpenters, whatever it may be. Yeah,
yeah.
I get it, but that's sad, but it's kind of good in a way because it gives us work. It puts food on our kids' table. So,
I'll say his name because it was under good circumstances. I mean, I made a post maybe 2 months ago, so I'm going to stop advocating for the trades. And Dennis, the apprentice, came on and said, Bob, what are you doing? You can't stop doing that. I'm like, why not? Like, if I stop advocating, like, nobody's going to get any better, and I'm just going to make more money and be busier
yeah,
because there's no one coming into this thing that knows what they're doing. And I compete with like three other people, really people in
yeah,
sort of the realms that I'm in. And
yeah,
so, and they're sort of all my same vintage, and there's nobody going to replace them. And so my boys are like, I'm like, you guys are going to do really, really well if you
yeah,
continued on the path that you're on, because there's no one going to replace us or me or whatever.
yeah,
So I should just stop advocating because it's to my own best interests, right?
yeah, yeah.
And yeah,
I
but
think that the advocating for the trades in in that respect, I mean, like I definitely, I don't want to say that I advocate for the trades. I mean, I promote the trades and I promote the fact that I want people to get involved with it. That's why, all right, let's get into the idea of the school that I work with, and I have a deal with them where I take a senior every single year,
yep,
and that is solely to the fact of two reasons. One, I want to increase the amount of kids that get a job in the trades that are trained and qualified to be an apprentice.
yep,
Because that when I'm done with them, no matter what, they are one, fully able to accomplish any task that an apprentice should be expected to do. And they also are, you know, they're ready to be, accepted by another company because they now have experience,
Yep.
and that's the goal that I have is, to rifle through as many kids as I can, because the statistic right now, and these numbers are fairly accurate, and we went over them the last time I was at the school. I'm their committee chairman for the plumbing board at the local school.
Oh, good
And
for you.
the the statistic is that 60% of the kids that don't get a co-op job in school leave the trade. 60%. And out of the percentage of all the kids, there's probably maybe 10 out of, I think they said they had 9. They have 9 kids out right now out of the senior class on co-op. And there'll be 10 now that I take the other kid on.
Yeah.
And the other 10 of the total 20, 6 of them are going to leave the trade. They're just not going to continue with it. And I want to minimize that as much as possible. That's why I'm taking on a kid every single year. And I plan to take 2 now. I would take a junior and a senior, because then they would oppositely, work. It's every other week for them. So I could be able to take 2. And the board also approved that I can do that. I can do that in this instance. It's legally allowed for me to have 2 apprentices because they're not working simultaneously. They're working in tandem. So,
okay. Is it 1-to-1 for you guys?
Yeah, it's 1-to-1 for us.
1-to-1. See, that's fantastic. And the reason's obvious why 60% of those people that don't get it is because the education means so little. It's all about the experience.
Yes.
Without the experience, the education is meaningless. And yet you can get the education through the experience, right? I mean, that's what the trade used to be, is I don't have any education and I have no experience. You're like, okay, come work for me and I will give you both.
Yeah.
And, one of the things that the trade school, this is my opinion, obviously, the trade schools give the education, but not the experience. And your numbers bear that out, that without the experience, the education is, 60% a waste of time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is awful.
It's really, it's awful. It's terrible. I mean, if we're trying to increase the number of skilled tradesmen coming into the trade, which you mentioned is like, there's not very many skilled, laborers coming in, regardless of trade. There's a lot of dying breeds out there. Like they're not even teaching lead and oakum in school anymore. Even though that for us, like it's now null and void. Like you don't legally have to do it anymore. There's no legal barrier. It used to be that you had to, the first 3 joints of a building had to be lead and oakum on anything that was cast iron. If it was cast iron coming in, the first 3 had to be lead and oakum poured. Now they don't have to. It's not required anymore. So that's now null and void. It doesn't need to be learned, but none of them know about it. Like it's just the whole thing of like, oh, we can't touch lead and all this other stuff. Like the educational side of things is not really helping that side of the argument, saying like, oh yeah, we want to have more people in the trades, because they're not really actually teaching everything to make them capable in the field. Because that when you get into the field, you're not just dealing with the things that you were taught in school. You're dealing with hundreds of years of past plumbing. You're having to deal with all of those things. Everything is involved. You should be learning about everything. It doesn't matter. Okay, so you only work with PEX and PVC? No, because there's copper everywhere. There's cast iron everywhere. There's all kinds of stuff. Like I deal with things that, the things that I run into are things that are dead and gone, that like came and they're like, oh no, this is crap. We don't use it anymore. And they yeeted it, but I still got to deal with it. But they're not
still got to deal with it.
Yeah. And they don't know about it. They don't.
And that's where that sales stuff comes in, right? Because they're like, listen, man, if you see this stuff, just like you said, yeet it. Just get it the fuck out and sell them a new system. They're like, no. Yeah. Hang on. Like time out. You should know what you're dealing with and be able to repair what you're dealing with. And then if it's an option, like there's no other option, then okay, then you need to sometime in the next, and we do this all the time with our commercial clientele. we have budget meetings every year. How much time do I have left on this system? I'm like, you got 4 years left on this. You got 8 years left on that. You got 8 months left on this bad boy. And if you don't believe me,
Mm-hmm.
in month 9, you're going to be calling crying because it's disintegrated. Right.
Yeah.
And we can keep this system going for this long and this system going for this long, but this one's at end of life and you need to do something
Yeah.
about it.
Yeah.
And what I see is people are like, oh, I don't know what that is. So you just let me put in something that I know what it is. I'm like, that's great. Unfortunately, the engineers are pumping out stuff faster than ever now. And so every 2 years, you're going to see a new system, which is where my learning is because there are new products out there. But, just because you have a new product doesn't mean everything else is now obsolete and needs to be replaced.
Yeah.
Right?
And it's funny. I went to the Verizon store because I had issues with my watch, and I was talking to them, and they say, yeah, we have people that come in like every single time a new one comes out. I'm like, what? What are you talking about? And it didn't make sense in my mind.
You've seen the lineup for the
like,
Apple store, right? Like every time there's what just came out, like iPhone, is it 17?
56?
Yeah, whatever the hell it is. And there's lineups around the block. I'm like, dude, you just got that. The 16 came out like 10 months ago, bro.
Yeah.
No, it's obsolete, man. It sucks. Like,
yeah. I mean,
there's only one thing in this whole situation that sucks.
So I think my phone is I think it's a Galaxy.
You got an Android like me?
S23. I think it's an S23.
Oh, I'm up on you. I just got the S24 like, I don't know, 6 months ago.
Yeah.
So before that, it was like the 18 or something. Anyway.
Yeah. And it's crazy. Like the one that I had before this was like the first Galaxy.
Yeah. That's how it's supposed to work, right?
Yeah.
Like it's like a $1,800 phone. You're like, okay, well, this thing better last me like 4 or 5 years, bro.
Yeah. All right. Here's another example of that.
Uh-oh.
This is I'm going to take my driver's license out of this so that people don't see it.
Don't let anybody dox you, man.
Yeah. So this is my wallet.
Yeah.
It is. How old is this thing? Now, this is hard to think about because it's old. I got this in high school. I'm 32 years 18. Now. It's at least 18. Yeah. So I've got a lot of miles on this thing. I lost this when I went snowboarding, and then I found it like 2 years later in the snow when I went, or not in the snow, but in the woods. I found it with everything still intact and in it, and it had money in it. It had $200 in cash in it, and I got it back.
Okay.
I don't need another wallet.
Right.
Why would I buy one? It's made. This is stainless steel and titanium. Like it's leather. It's never gonna deteriorate in any way, really. I mean,
if it's spent 2 years out in the wilderness, then obviously it's the shit.
Yeah, it is awesome, and it's made by a company, Travax, and it's awesome. But I'm not gonna buy another wallet because I see one that looks cool.
Listen, I'm
just not.
That's a whole, like you talked about in another podcast. We could talk about consumerism in society and what that's done to us, and what's that doing to your kids. We're like, okay, well, I gotta have the next thing, right? Or it's Halloween's coming up, so the whole house has to look like it's like a haunted house for 2 months, and then it all has to look like Christmas, and you know what I mean. There's a whole other side.
You should have
all you do is sigh.
It's like we should have that podcast. I will gladly come back on and talk about how terrible that is. Oh my gosh.
It's all Pinterest's fault. And the fact that I know what Pinterest is a terrible thing.
Is Pinterest even around still?
Of course it is, brother.
Oh my gosh. My wife is probably on that. She does that stuff.
I guarantee you can ask her. She's on there. She may not be sending you stuff, but she has her. I don't have a Pinterest, and I don't think I've ever been on the site, but I know that there's a Pinterest wall where all the ladies post save all their stuff.
Yeah.
And pick a moment to share it with their man and say, "This is what I need."
Yeah. Yeah. Can you, can you build me this?
That's right.
They're like, yes, yes, honey, I can build you this. I can build it. Let's go to Hobby Lobby.
That is literally the curse of the trade. Is, can you build me this? Yes, yes, I can. Do I want to build you that? No, no, I don't.
uh, I I at first, when I first got married, I was like super excited to be like, I was excited about the honeydew list. Like, they'll make me
Yeah, yeah.
this and fix that and everything. And I was like, all right, cool, great. And then I got smacked in the face, like with life. And then I realized that I wasn't going to have any time for it. Um, but I will say that I've learned to tell my wife, make sure you know exactly what you want. And I need an exact, like, it needs to be spot on. I want like blueprints for this thing because I'll build it. And then 6 months
Uh,
later, I really like that. I never liked it. Okay.
no, I've told my boys, I'm like, listen, you're gonna have to teach your women how to take no for an answer. That's just
Yeah.
that's part of the deal in relationships. Is it can't always be yes. Sometimes it's like no, no, I'm not doing
Yeah.
that, or I'm not doing
Yeah.
that
We don't.
now. You're gonna have to hold off on that one for a bit.
Yes. Yes. I've all, my current thing that I tell my wife is, we'll do it the next house. Next house.
Well,
Yeah.
you're honoring your commitment because you're in the process of moving to the next house. So we'll see
Yeah.
how it may not be your, what do they call it around here, your forever home, but
Yeah.
it'll be the next Pinterest experiment.
Yes. I laugh because my, a friend of mine that I lived with for a while, his wife was said, they're like, hey, we want the this half bathroom right in his front entryway of his house. He's like, yeah, we want to remodel that, spruce it up, make it nice, redo everything. It's old, it's been here for a long time. We want to renovate it. And he's like, sure, no problem. We were sitting on the couch, both of us. We're sitting there. She was like, hey, we should finish off that bathroom. We look at each other and said, yeah, let's do it. We went in there and we demoed the bathroom in 2 hours.
Yeah.
Demoed the whole bathroom.
Yeah.
It was all the way down to the floor and the studs. And we closed the door and we're like, all right, great. We started. And she was so happy.
8 months later?
No, 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 no,
No, no, longer.
3 years later. And it was so funny because so like a year into it, it's still the same. It's still gutted, just sitting there collecting
Yeah.
dust. And
Yeah.
she says to him at the Thanksgiving table, he said, she says, when are you going to finish that bathroom off? When are we going to finish it? He says, I'll do it before Christmas. And she says, oh, very good, very good. And then he leans over to me and he leans over to me and he says, I didn't say which Christmas.
Yeah, exactly right. That's exactly which Christmas.
Yes, which Christmas? He's like, I didn't say which one. Oh my gosh! I'm like, dude, you have. And I looked at him. I said, you have mastered the art of husbandry.
That's part of the secret, is being very unspecific, being very agreeable but very unspecific about
Yes.
times and dates. Yes, of course I'll do that. When?
Yes.
I have no idea. Soon.
Yeah.
Soon.
Soon.
Right?
Soon. Another day.
Awesome. Another day.
Yeah.
Well, we've been at it for almost well, not quite 2 hours. Almost an hour and a half, 90 minutes.
Yeah.
You'll have to let me know how this translates into the world of Instagram and social media. How you're
yeah. Yeah. I mean,
I don't think we talked about anything too controversial, did we?
No, we kind of have to now. We have to like pick some. We got to talk about something weird, so that we can make people mad. We just have to. I mean, we touched on in my opinion, we touched on something that is not necessarily political by any means, but it is it is a controversial thing. There's a lot of anger with regards to that, and we won't necessarily get into that super heavy. But I know that the world tends to take they look at this beautiful thing, whatever it is. I take the podcast as an example, or this conversation, and they're like, oh, here's a conversation. Let's find the bad part, and we'll
Find the
take
bad
it and
part.
we'll put it under a microscope and just,
Yeah.
it's like a
No, you
headline
can
for,
find the
oh,
bad in anything, right?
bad.
And
Yeah.
there
Oh
is,
yeah.
frankly, there's a lot of bad about what happened this week. Um,
Yeah.
Hopefully, I don't know what that is yet. What good comes from that? But um, I, like that young man said many times, is that it's we can't be afraid to have conversations, no matter what they are,
Mhm. Yeah.
and we're absolutely allowed to disagree on a great many things. But the second the dialogue stops, then terrible things like that happen. And
Yeah.
whatever your take on that is, if you can take it at its face value, or you can go, down the rabbit holes that there's many these days. But either way, that ended a conversation that should not
Mhm.
have ended. Um,
Yeah.
and and I think, and I'm sad for that. And I don't know what comes
Yeah.
next, but like
Yeah.
there's nothing. The beautiful thing about technology is, like, I mean, you'll absolutely concur with this. Like, we don't know each other. We've communicated a couple of times on IG, certainly commented and liked, and done all the stuff that you're supposed to do. But
Sure.
we're, whatever we are, 6,000 miles apart, and yet are able
Yeah.
to have a conversation about the very similar topics and very similar experiences. And as I said many times, I think we're far more alike than we're different. And and the and I don't care where you are or what you do. It's not just the trade. I think as human beings, we're far more alike than we are different, and we need to be able to find a way to continue having difficult conversations as we sort of try and make the world a better place. That's what we do as tradesmen. Try and make the world a better place. Try and solve problems that we can solve. I think it's too big of a macro to sort of tackle individually. And like you alluded to, the solution is in doing what you can control, and you can control your environment with your kids and your wife and the people that you work for and the people that you interact with every day. And I think that's where the meat of this life is. It's in those interactions for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. I agree wholeheartedly. I think that the biggest takeaway I have so far from my life in general and my experience, and it's only been 32 years. I don't have a lot of skin in the game as other people do, but as being a human, as being a person on earth,
Yeah.
more good has come from my being good than
Yep.
anything else. And just being good is farly, far better than being bad, regardless, no matter how you look at it. I mean, at the end of the day, something's going to come and bite you if you're, trying to be bad and thinking that it's going to benefit you. At the end of the day, the race always comes to a stop. Everybody's going to die. Everybody's going to, no, nobody lives forever. We're all going to eventually face the music. And when that happens, everybody's going to get their own fair share of the pie, and however that comes out. And
However that
some
works.
people's pie might be rotten. Some people's pie is going to taste really good.
Yeah. And I don't think you should discount any of your skin in the game. 32 years. I mean, every one of your experiences has to be certainly valid to you and valid to your family and your community, right? Like, that's where you base your opinions and your actions, and the advice that you give your wife, your kids, and whoever it is. And I just to relate it directly to the trade life, there has to be some self-aggrandizing going on there. You have to say, listen, I've been here for 32 blinking years, and it means
Yeah.
something, and my experiences are of value to me, and I'm going to make sure that they're of value to other people. And like you just said, I've I've gotten way more out of this life by trying to treat people properly and do good things than to do the opposite, whatever that looks like. And
Yeah.
I think that's the theme of life. If you want to succeed at it, is to
Yeah.
look out for your family and look out for the people that you work with, and I think reciprocally, those good things come to you at the exact same time. Like it's in, like you say, that's those good. You go out and do a good job, you get that dopamine hit. You come home and see your wife and kids, you get that dopamine hit, and you're able to communicate with them and sleep well at night and do what you do and work hard. And I think that is the, it used to be called the American dream. I think it's the worldwide dream. Be able to do those
Yeah.
things and do them consistently, and make a difference in the world that you find yourself in, whatever that milieu is, right?
Yeah. Yeah. 100%. 100%.
Yeah.
It's all good things that we aspire to be. And if you're not aspiring, you might want to rethink your ideas of life.
That's right. So you got to, let's wrap up with this. You got your new apprentice showing up tomorrow. Yes. Bright and
Yep.
early.
Yep. Yep.
And I will say this: I have I have my own new apprentice showing up tomorrow, bright and early. That'll be my fourth grandkid. The next
Nice.
baker shows up, so we'll look forward to that.
Good.
What's the first thing you're going to communicate to that young man as he shows up at your doorstep, ready to begin his co-op with you?
Well, I will say this. I said this. I've said this with all the kids I've taken, and so far it seems to have been effective. And I again, this might be repeating the same thing, but it just works. I tell them that the biggest portion of them learning, the biggest component that's going to help drive their education in the trade and to make them a better person is their communication with me and the
Nice.
way that they go about it. And I tell them, like, hey, you can make mistakes because right now you're learning. I can fix and resolve and undo whatever mistake you make. I can do that. That's my job. I can do those things. No matter what you do, I can fix it if you break it. But if you don't tell me that you did it, or you don't communicate to me that you're struggling, like, you're not going to learn as much as you really could. You will learn some
Yep.
things if you just sit there and don't speak. If we put duct tape over your mouth and you don't get to talk all day, you'll still learn something via your eyes, but it will drastically increase if you communicate to me in a way that is going to build both of us in a way to increase your experience. But that's probably what I'll end up saying to him, because that's what I've said it to all of them. Is you
I
need
love
to
that.
communicate with me.
There should be no secrets, right? And this is,
Yes.
if there's no secrets, then it's all just learning. If you do something that
Yeah.
you shouldn't have
Secrets
done,
don't
then
make friends.
what's that?
Secrets don't make friends.
Secrets do not make friends. That's exactly right. No, I think that's great, man. And I'll look forward to seeing how that, I'll check in with you in a couple of weeks and see how that goes. See, well, how long you got him
Yeah.
for?
I'll have him for his whole senior year.
Oh, nice. Oh, I
Yep.
guess
And then
have you guys just started, or are you guys like a month ahead of us?
we're like 3 weeks in
3
on
weeks in?
school, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, they just started around here. So yeah, you guys start like the middle of August. We start like the second week of September. So that is fabulous. I think you're contributing where you can contribute. And what else can you ask of anybody?
No, I appreciate it. Yeah, thank you very much. I appreciate you having me on. It's I've been on a couple of different podcasts and talking to people, and I think that it's good not only for like the exposure to let people know not only who I am, but also of like making sure that everybody sees that we're here, and trying to increase. Even though that I have only been on a couple of different people's podcasts, and I also had my own podcast for a little while, which I didn't end up keeping going. I probably should, but
It's
the
not an easy thing, right? Like always the first couple are always like, yeah, man, this is going to be great. And then you're like, what am I going to talk about this time? I don't know.
yeah.
Sort of said everything I
it's
had to say. Good thing I'm an
yeah.
incredibly opinionated dude, so I have lots of things to say, but
Yeah, yeah. Which we will have to get back on and talk about the consumer side of things and all that. We'll
Yeah.
definitely have to do that. That would be fun.
No, no, I think that'll be great. And like you say, we're not trying to like, we want to talk to people, or I want to talk to people that want to talk to me and that think that, you know, add their perspective to the craziness that we call life and the trade and family and all the
Yeah,
crazy stuff that goes on into making us who we are. So
yeah.
that's
And also at the
awesome.
same time, we need to talk about something that's going to make somebody mad.
Listen, if you don't know how this works now, the fact that you're talking to me, I promise you that like I'll clip this up a bit and then send it out. So it'll be on YouTube probably by Monday and then
Mm.
Spotify by Tuesday. And there'll be some clips throughout the week. I promise you somebody's going to say, I can't believe that you went on with that dude. Like, what are you thinking? Like, it's just, I'm really not a
Yep,
bad
it's going
guy.
to be great. I can't wait.
It's just, people have to
It's just
say
where
what they say.
people are.
People are who they
Yeah,
are. That's exactly right.
yeah.
Okay, I'm just going to press pause here, and then like nothing's going to change. Uh,
Sure.